Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm James. Today I'm going to be doing a open box review of this OS Max 15LA glow engine for RC planes. The 15 stands for 0.15 cubic inch displacement. It says silver. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But again, this is an OS Engines. It's a brand new engine I bought for a build that I'm doing right now. And OS engines are made in Japan. And they're quality engines. They've been around for decades. OS started making engines back in the 1930s, and they've been making them ever since. They're known for their high quality RC engines. Again, this is a glow engine, meaning that it uses a glow plug, not a spark plug, and it doesn't use gasoline. It uses glow fuel, such as this by Cool Power, which is a mixture of methanol, nitromethane, and oil. So I know we want to open the box and see what's inside here, but I did want to mention one thing quick here about sort of the LA series. So the LA series came out like in about the mid 1990s, and they're still producing them now. And when they first came out, they were sort of this anodized blue finish and kind of like a dark blue finish. And they weren't really well received. And eventually OS got rid of the blue finish, and now they're all silver. And I think that's why this one says silver here. And the thing about the LA series is that it's sort of OS's economy series of engines. They're made to be a little bit easier to use, a little bit less engineering involved with these engines, which makes them a little bit cheaper, if you will. OS is known for making really high quality RC plane engines, and they can be kind of pricey. So this series is actually really nice. It's affordable, and they're a little bit easier to use, a little more user-friendly engines for people. So these guys, like I mentioned, came out like in the mid 1990s, and this series, the LA series, sort of replaced the previous sort of economy line of OS engines, which were the FPs that came out in the 1980s. I like the FP series engines, they're great. So the LA series sort of replaced the FP series, that's my understanding. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside the box here. I do like the older boxes. So here we got the instruction manual. OS always gives you some stickers, which is really cool. Got a little set of stickers there. Some random paperwork. Some warranty information. Some more warranty information. Then here is their instructions, which are a nice fold-out set. And the thing about this is you can go on the website and you can obtain these instructions in PDF format. So if you lose them or they get destroyed, you can go and get a set, get a PDF copy from their website. So we'll take a little bit closer look at the instructions in just a minute or so, but let's go ahead and look at the rest of what's in the box here. So there's our muffler. Let me set that aside and get right to the engine. Oops, there's something else in here. All right, there she is. Yes, a very nice, well-machined little engine. Look at that detail. LA15 OS on here. Now the thing again about these, if you compare them to sort of the other series that they have, such as the AX and the AX2 and things like that, there's some plastic parts on here, like this little guy is a plastic part. This is plastic back in here. This is plastic in here. I'm not really fond of that, but again, that's kind of why this engine is a little less expensive. But still, these are OS engines and they're high quality and they run great. All right, I'll set this down. We'll come back to it. I'm going to set this down and look at the other parts that came in the box and kind of maybe assemble it. Here's our glow plug. It's probably an A3. Let's see what it says on here. Nope, it's a number 6. Yeah, so number 6 is for their smaller glow engines. Let's put that on here real quick. I'll tighten that down later. Then these are going to be the screws for the muffler. And then it's got a little piece of fuel tubing. All right, and the little piece of tubing goes between the carburetor right here and then the needle valve right over here. Pop that on. Now this is a different setup than a lot of their other engines. There are some other series of engines that have the same setup where they've moved the needle valve to the back of the engine. Probably did that just for safety purposes because, you know, it's better to have to be back a little bit. I like to have the needle valve up here on the carburetor. I'm not super fond of this setup, but apparently it works okay. And then, like I said, these are going to be for the muffler, or the silencer as they call it. So let's get that out. So here is our silencer. I always call it a muffler, I don't know. Again, very nicely well machined. This will go right on here. So let me go ahead and get a screwdriver. So these aren't hex head. These are just Phillips or cross point screws. Not my favorite. I like having the hex head because over time, you know, you can kind of strip the cross top on there, or the Phillips, whatever you want to call it. But it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and get this guy. There's no gasket included. Careful, I don't want to strip it. Okay. Very nice. And I might as well go ahead and tighten my glow plug down. Again, don't want to hit it too hard, just nice and firm, but okay, there we go. So let's take a look at some of the features. You know, I'm not an expert in these engines and everything. I'll just tell you I'll just point out a few things the way I see them. So of course, this is your needle valve sort of assembly here. Here's your needle valve here. It doesn't have a high speed and a low speed needle. Instead of having a low speed needle, it has this air bleed. So for example, let me pull out this guy here. This is a AX2, OS AX2, and of course it has a high speed needle. Then it has this other little guy right here, which is your low speed needle. And again, you know, this one doesn't have it. It has an air bleed, which is a very simple, almost kind of crude little, you know, mixture adjustment method. And again, that's kind of why this engine is going to be a little less expensive. It doesn't have the same type of engineering as this guy has, as an example. So the difference between having a low speed needle screw like this one and just the air bleed is that they do the same thing, but they do it in an opposite way. So your typical engine like this, which has both, obviously when you turn these guys in, you're cutting back on the fuel going into the carburetor, into the mixture. So as you turn these guys in on both of them, you basically lean out the mixture. As you open these guys up, it makes the mixture richer, and that's true for both the high speed and the low speed needle. As I said, with the air bleed, it operates a little bit differently. We still have the needle valve in the back, and as we close that needle valve, we reduce the amount of fuel that's being allowed to go into the mixture in the carburetor. As we reduce the fuel, it's going to be a leaner mixture. Again, the opposite is when we open it up, we're going to allow more fuel into the mixture, which is going to make it richer. The thing about the air bleed is it does the same thing, but it does it in the opposite way because we're adjusting the air going into the carburetor, not the fuel. So as you can kind of see here, there's this little adjusting screw right here, and that little hole is where the air is going in. So if we close this guy down and close the hole off, what that's going to do is going to reduce the amount of air going into the carburetor, which is going to make it a richer mixture. If we open it up, it's going to allow more air into the carburetor, which is going to make it a leaner mixture. So it's doing the same thing, just in an opposite way. And the thing about this really is it's kind of crude, and I don't know how well it really does work. I mean, I guess for some fine tuning it does work, but it's nothing like a kind of like the low speed needle that you would get on an engine like this, where you can really do some fine tuning. So over here on this side we have our throttle lever right here, and then we can kind of look inside the carburetor and we see that little rotor. That's the carburetor, that's the rotor, and that's basically just allowing the air and the mixture into the engine, right? So that's full throttle right there, and this would be low, sort of idle right here. And then this little screw right here is to adjust the amount of travel of the carburetor rotor in there, and you use that to basically set it down so you can't shut the engine off. You have it set, you basically screw this in or out to give yourself just a little bit of an opening, so when it's idling you get your idle but you don't go too far and cut the engine off. And then taking another look at the needle valve assembly, we see that the knob has these little grooves kind of machined into it, and then there's this little metal sort of tab, and it's got this little kind of protrusion that you can't see that sort of like rests on top of those grooves, and that just keeps the needle valve from moving on you. It kind of makes it stay in position. And then a nice feature is that it has this little sort of like Allen screw, it's kind of hex head screw in here, and you see this little opening in here. You can put a piece of like piano wire in there if you want, and you can extend sort of the length of the needle valve. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get to the needle valve adjustment if it's in your plane, as in a cowl or something like that. In fact, I have that on this AX2 I have here. This is a 46 AX2, and you can see how that would work. It's very handy. Just get a piece of piano wire, cut it as long as you need it, and then you can just kind of just stick it right in there, tighten it up, and you're ready to go. On the back here is this little nipple here. That's what the fuel line from the tank plugs into. Obviously it goes from the tank into here, and then it goes into your, through the needle valve assembly, into the carburetor. And then on the muffler itself, or the silencer, we have another nipple on that, and that's going to connect to the tank, and that pressurizes the tank. So that's basically the main kind of parts here. You can adjust you can undo this screw or loosen this screw here, and you can rotate the nozzle, if you will, so you can kind of rotate this guy around to have this point, the exhaust point out in different directions. So you know, if you have it mounted in different kind of ways, if you have it side mounted or if you have it upside down, inverted, you know, you can always move this guy around to point it in the right direction. And okay, let me go ahead and get one more thing, which is going to be the prop. And this guy I think this is like a 5mm prop shaft. I'll have to check that, but this guy comes off here. Let me go ahead and grab a prop. This is just a master air screw. What size is this? This is an 8.4, which is a size for this engine. We'll look at the instructions here in just a minute and look at the different prop options you have. But this guy will go on here. I don't think I have, with this tool, probably not the right size. This one may fit. Yeah, that works. So there we have it. Very nice. See if you can hear that. It's got really nice compression. Let's take a quick look at the instructions. Put some of this away. Let's go ahead and get these guys out. Now there's a lot on here, and totally advise you, if you buy a brand new engine like this, to read everything. Read it all, read it a couple times. Look at the safety information. Look at all the different parts and such. Well, I'm certainly not going to read all of this on the video, but I thought I would just kind of go over some of the key things here just to look at for fun. So they give you a little write-up here, a little explanation on some of the construction of the engine, which is cool to read. There's a little diagram of the basic engine parts, and they talk about the installation, the different things you need to do to get the engine kind of assembled. One thing going back to obviously is the warnings. Make sure you operate the plane safely, the engine safely. Read the warnings and all that, and make sure you understand completely how to operate the engine in a safe manner. There's a little diagram down here showing the fuel tank setup, which is really nice. It shows you how to set up your lines. Also shows you that the tank is a little bit lower than the top of the tank is kind of at the same sort of height of the carburetor itself. You don't want your tank too high because then the fuel could flow into the carburetor and flood it, so you kind of keep it a little bit low like that. Now one thing, let's go ahead and look at the propellers real quick. So again, we have for the 15 LA, which is here, these instructions are again for the 15 and the 25 LA, I guess, but they show running in as an 8.4, which I have, and then a trainer or sport they have it as a 7.5 to 6 and an 8.4 to 5. So those are the sizes or the range of props we can use on this. Then it goes into a bunch of stuff, sort of setting the thing up and getting it ready for the test run, which you can read there obviously. Lots of good information, and the instructions are actually pretty straightforward and easy to understand, which I like about the OS stuff. Then here's the adjustment diagram for the needle valve. Again, just read it. It looks like it's complicated, but it's not. There's a bunch of steps here how to set it up. You know, you open it up to a certain, open it up like 2 or 3 turns, and then you go from there. But just have to read it all. There's sort of like a little bit of a logic trees they have. So you can kind of, if this happens, do this type of stuff. Back here is a little diagram on how to adjust the air bleed carburetor here. Again, it's one of these sort of logic tree things where you kind of take each step, and depending on what goes on, you'll go in different directions. Again, it's a pretty simple process. And then here there's like blow-up version of the engine itself, showing all the parts. And then it's got all these different parts you can order if something happens. You know, if you crash your plane, which I've done before, you know, you can order things like, you know, carburetor. A lot of times the needle valve will break off. You know, sometimes your carburetor gets mangled during a crash, and if you're lucky, you can just get a new one. But in any case, it tells you all that stuff in different parts lists and the numbers and such. And then back down in here are just some dimensions, and this is helpful for you to when you're planning on doing your build. This will give you some dimensions to help you with that. Well, there it is. I don't have much more to say about it. Again, this is the OS Max 15 LA Glow engine for RC planes. 15, or I should say 0.15 cubic inch displacement glow engine. And this baby is going to go, let me grab my plane, in the plane that I'm building right now, which is the Aeromite. And you can check out that build series. I'm right in the middle of it. But this guy is going to go in here like this. Obviously, I'm going to have to make adjustments to the engine compartment to get it all to fit right. But this is the engine I'm going to be using for this plane. And it's going to scream, I can tell you that much. Okay, well, like always, thanks for watching my channel. I always appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.